24 hours ago, and I discussed some of the issues going on with Iran and how the rollout has been a total disaster, which is true. It has been a total disaster. But Donald Trump sent a very provocative tweet today. So I made contact with my White House insider, and I put a question out there. I said, what is really going on? What happened? Did something change in the past 24 hours? And I received a message back from him, and he explained to me, yes, something did change. Donald Trump received a series of phone calls at the White House last night, and this tweet that we have seen, this tweet that has come out, was very provocative. It was not written by Trump, and as you can see, it received a lot of likes, and I believe many of those likes have been paid for. They are not organic, not all of them. This tweet was very important to them. They wanted this tweet to come out. First of all, Iran did not threaten anyone, so the tweet is a complete lie, and it's total bullshit. It is misdirection, whatever you want to call it. I don't even... It is just outrageous tweet. It is complete bullshit. But I want to explain to you what's really going on here, because the White House insider gave me a little more information that I didn't have before. There's a series of issues you need to understand. Number one, Donald Trump is blackmailed. He is controlled. I mean, he has to play ball on certain issues. I think many people already understand that, or they know that. But what we have seen with Russian collusion is not the issue. Donald Trump is involved in money laundering. He is involved in money laundering. Now, here's why that has not come to light. Why have they not brought that up? Because, very simple reason, half of Congress is involved in money laundering, including many of the top Democratic leaders, and Donald Trump knows this. So there's a bit of a standoff with this issue, but he is blackmailed on the issue as well. But it is very interesting because he has a little bit of leverage on this issue, and he has used it. But now the pressure is mounting on Iran. Donald Trump is... Well, I've had real difficulty understanding what's going on with this, because it appears he might be against this war. We know he's a Jew. We know he believes Kushner is the Messiah. He believes in some of this nonsense, but we have seen him sort of waffle on the war a little bit. So I asked my White House insider what is going on, and they told me that Trump received a few phone calls in 24 hours, and they said, look, you need to do this and this, and we want this tweet to go out. And if you don't, you'll be flushed on the toilet. And Trump has complied. That is what I know now, and my reading of Trump's behavior is this. Donald Trump is concerned about his poll numbers. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to shore up his base and keep his base in line. Some of his policies for America are good, but he's a totally compromised human being. And he's completely compromised. I mean, any way you look at it. We are going to go to war with Iran. And he understands, and they have communicated to him. And they have a good relationship. I mean, the relationship between Trump and Netanyahu has been very positive. My understanding is that in the past 24 hours, some of that changed a little bit. They pushed Trump a little bit. Trump is not upset about it, as far as I know, because he will go along with the war. But he was resisting a little bit, and they got him back in line. And basically, he's been told, and the words that were used were flushed down the toilet. I don't know how, if that, my understanding is it didn't get him that upset. He's not upset. He basically just complied. He went along. He said, okay, the tweet's going to go out. Fine. So what we were seeing is a little bit of a shift. I mean, my other video, I said, okay, it looks like the whole rollout for the war is a total disaster. A top rabbi in Israel is upset about it. But we have seen there is going to be a push now. They're not satisfied with waiting. It's basically full steam ahead on the war. I'm warning you now. I'm concerned. I mean, yesterday I felt a little better because we saw the rollout's a total mess. We see that Rabbi has issued a grievance. He has said, no, you messed it up. The media is against it. The American people are against it. But it appears that some very high-level people in Israel, obviously the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, are going to move ahead with the war, and they want Trump on board and on point and on basically to go along with the narrative that they're pushing right now. So that is what's going on. It's totally outrageous. It is a very big concern to me because this could escalate and be a very bad thing for America, because Iran will not just sit back and take it. I mean, Iran is very strong, very, very strong country, and they'll stand up for themselves. It could be very bad for Israel and for America. I don't know the full extent of what the plan is, though. I've said before, there are Iranians that work for Mossad, basically, and they're in the Iranian government, but it is certainly possible the Iranian government is aware of it and clamping down on that, too. I don't know. That is where we're at, and I thank you for some of the people who promoted the channel. I got a few more views from my videos. It's very helpful for me, because I'm under threat. I'm not feeling good today. I've been losing my voice. I don't feel good. I don't know what's wrong. It could just be my age, but I don't feel good today at all. I'm trying to get better. I don't think I've been poisoned again. I mean, with poisoning, you know you're really, really sick very quickly. But I don't feel good today. I don't know if it's some kind of electronic interference, something to bring me down physically and emotionally through an electronic type of weapon. Because I know they have those. I don't know. But I know they're monitoring. I mean, they're monitoring me. If this channel blows up, it could be a problem for me, or maybe it will help me, because more exposure is good. More exposure I need. Thank you. Please subscribe and share and do what you can do to get this information out. This is all we have. I mean, this is going to happen. The war will happen. We have to get word out about what is going on, because Iran is not going to start the war. They're going to make it look that way. It'll be a false flag. That's all. Hello, everyone. This is David Goldberg again. I want to thank everyone who has helped get the word out about my channel. I want to thank all of you. You have done great work. Someone had pointed out that I was on True News. True News is a wonderful Christian channel that has done amazing work. I recommend that you go look at it and subscribe to them. They discussed my channel, and I thought they were very fair, and they were very accurate in everything they said. I really appreciate their coverage. They did a wonderful job in covering the things that I've been talking about. I have received some word that they are okay with me publishing the information. And there are some reasons why I've speculated why that is, why I'm still here, why is the channel still up. Because everything I've said is true. I've predicted things accurately. I predicted 120,000 troops a month before it was reported. I talked about the Iran war a month before we started to see all these things show up in the news. I have talked about Trump's conversion to Judaism. I've talked about Jared Kushner's involvement and his level of involvement in the administration, and why they believe and how they believe he is the Messiah, the Moshiach. I have discussed incredible things on my channel, things that should not be allowed to be put out into the public. And I've wondered, why is my channel still here? Why am I allowed to say these things? So I made some inquiries. I asked some questions. Some friends of mine in Washington, D.C. were able to give me some answers. And what I was told is they're going to allow my channel to exist. And there's a reason for it. And we'll get into what that reason is. And there are smart people who are listening now who may be able to figure out what that is. It is the same reason. It is the same reason that you were told about 9/11 before it happened. You were told about it through different media outlets, through different, I guess you would call them Easter eggs. Easter eggs, little things that were put put into the media before 9/11 that they were giving you clues. And this is something they do. This is part of their Kabbalah belief system. It is known as white balance. It is part of what they do to balance out all the evil that they do. So they're going to let my channel exist, as far as I know, for the time being, because it is part of their, I guess you could say, it's atonement or for what they're doing. So they're going to allow it to exist. They always tell the truth about what they're going to do. They just know that the sheep are so dumb that they won't listen. Just like with 9/11, there were many, many signs that 9/11 was coming. They even told you that it was coming in a television show called The Lone Gunman on Fox. This television show, it was about 6 months before 9/11, they aired an episode in which they showed the entire thing happen. The Twin Towers were attacked in the episode. And there was a false flag in the television show in the script. Now, we know for a fact that the Lone Gunman received script ideas from the CIA. That is a fact. Go look it up. So they told you about 9/11 before it was going to happen, and they told you that it would be a false flag. And they are allowing me to tell you that the entire Iran war is fake, it is scripted, and it is going to be precipitated by a false flag. They are allowing me to tell you the truth because it is part of their religious beliefs that the Goyim be told in advance of the evils that they are to be, that the evils that are to be enacted upon them, that they are told about them. Do you understand what I just told you? I hope you do. I hope you understand the gravity of that. I hope you understand how and why this is all playing out. The Iran war is totally fake. Now, they're talking about threats from Iran. There is no threat from Iran. Why didn't we hear about this 2 years ago? Why didn't we hear about this a year ago? Why is it that all of a sudden Iran is a threat? That is because this is totally scripted, and they've been planning this for years. Now, the timeline has been moved back multiple times because they either screwed up or things didn't go the way they wanted. The timeline has been moved back. But now we are back on track. October, I already said October months ago. Were you paying any attention at all? I said October is the date. That is the timeline. We will see how it plays out, but I do believe October is still the date. Everything that we're seeing now is predictive programming. They're gearing up for war. Now, I want to address some of the things that I said in my previous videos. There was a little bit of confusion. I'm watching all this play out. I'm getting information from my White House insider and from a few other sources. And I'm asking questions. What is going on here? There was a rabbi that was very, very upset with how some of the Iran war rollout had come out. Pompeo and Bolton. This rabbi felt that Pompeo and Bolton had made some mistakes because there was a lot of negative feedback at first from the media and from the public because the whole rollout looked totally inept. It looked obvious, so the rabbi went crazy, and this same rabbi has gone berserk again. You have to understand how much power he has. He is incredible influence. He's considered a religious leader. Netanyahu looks at him as his religious leader. And this same rabbi has come out and he is demanding more troops be sent to the Middle East, and we are already seeing it happen. We are already seeing it happen. I believe that the troop increases will continue. That is what I've been told. Over the next month or two, we're going to see more troop increases, but we're not going to be told about the true extent. It's going to be more than they are telling you. If they say 5,000, it will be more like about 10,000. I have been told They're going to tone down some of those numbers because there is so much public resistance to this. But they are moving troops into the Middle East. They are moving troops toward Iran. It is happening. Before your eyes, the preparation for this war is happening, and you still don't believe it. You are still so completely in denial. There might mean the American people are in total denial about what's playing out right now. It will happen. It is going to happen. It could lead to World War III. It could lead to just total annihilation. I mean, it could be so bad. I fear for my life, I fear for the lives of my family and the people I love, that the war could get that bad, because Iran has a lot of capabilities. Iran has great capabilities that are not fully known to the U.S. government. I've been told, anyway. Or at least the U.S. government is aware and they just don't care. I mean, it is almost suicidal what they're doing. So I would advise you, get the word out. They are allowing my channel to exist for now, because it is a part of the white balance, is a part of their Kabbalistic, Luciferian belief system, that they warn the Goyim before they commit their acts of evil. And of course the sheep never actually respond or listen or do anything about it. And they know that. Do you understand me? They know that. That's why they told you about 9/11 before it happened. They know you're not going to do anything about it. They know you don't care. They know you don't pay attention. But it's part of their religious belief system that they have to tell the truth before they commit these great acts of evil. And they put these little Easter eggs out there, and they let people know, and then it happens. And then we go back and we look and say, oh, wow, look at that. There was this and this and this, letting us know what was going to happen. That appears to be what's playing out with my channel. I don't know fully. I have been given some hints with respect to that. For now, I'm allowed to exist. But my life is still under threat. They will kill me if certain things are said. If I start to interfere with their plans in a significant way, they will kill me and they will shut this down. This has been a longer video than I expected. I wanted to address a lot of issues. I hope that you've listened to me, and I hope you will spread the message. This is up to you more than it is up to me. I'm giving you the information and the truth. You can choose to do with it what you will. That is in your hands. And God is watching, I can promise you that. everyone. This is David Goldberg again. This is probably going to be one of my most important videos that I've done yet. We're going to discuss a couple of things, new things that have come up. I have received classified documents from my White House insider, and we also have some memos that I've referenced in the past, and I'm going to walk through everything that I've been deciphering and learning from these videos, from the documents that I've received. So, we'll get into this. The crux of it, I want to just introduce you right away. What is it all about? This is it. This is what the documents reveal. There are too many people waking up. There are too many Americans, more and more of them, that are suspicious of Israel. More and more Americans aware of Zionism. This has been around for decades and decades. You go back to the 50s, 60s, there's a lot of literature about Zionism, about Judaism. It's not unusual, but the difference is today, more and more people are waking up to it. It's been a real tipping point where you always had maybe about 0.5% of the population that was aware of Zionism, that did not like Jews and whatnot, but they were never part of the mainstream. They were always dismissed as conspiracy theorists. They had no influence. So they were not really a threat. But that has changed. And you know that has changed. Anyone paying attention knows that it's changed. We have seen a big change in comment sections on YouTube, many people making references to Zionism. It has become a part of the nomenclature through the influence of 8chan, 4chan, many websites, and ultimately many YouTube channels that have been speaking the truth very aggressively for many years, but it has really gotten attention lately. It is somewhat of a cumulative effect, a snowball effect, where more and more people start to wake up to the truth and the facts, and it just expands. And people become more accepting of it. And they start to say, okay, it's okay for me to look at the information. I'm not an anti-Semite for looking at it. And it really starts to click for people. So this has been a big change in the recent past few years. What happened is that Israel, its agents, its propagandists, have been paying very close attention to this over the past few years. They know this is happening. They are very concerned about it. We are talking about 0.5% of Americans who have some idea of Zionism and they're against it and they understand it. That number, according to these documents, is now about, I saw two numbers. They said 15%, and another one said 7%, but that is a very large number of Americans that have woken up to what's going on with Israel and Zionism and the Israeli lobby and the influence. They're unafraid to hate Israel. That number is very high, and it has them very concerned. This is much of what the classified documents talk about, but we'll get into that more. I wanted to set it up for you so you actually understand what this is really about. What I was given from the White House insider. The main part that you really need to know, though, is they have a plan for all of this. So I'm going to talk about that now. There is discussion within these documents years ago to ban the YouTube channels, to shut it down, all of that. But they changed course. They made a decision to do something completely different. And they decided, instead of censoring everything, to fund and promote gatekeeper channels, shill channels, to simply gather and collect all the open-minded people who are looking at the issue. And they did shut down some of the legitimate channels, and that has actually happened. If you're following some of that, you are aware that there have been channels that have been shut down, almost completely eliminated. Some of those channels were not a part of the original Gatekeeper channels. They have no connection. They are truth-telling channels. Some of those they've eliminated that they felt were a threat or that might be calling out the Gatekeeper channels. So, I'm just looking through some of the documents here and seeing what I want to talk about next. One really interesting aspect of all this is that the Gatekeeper channels and the shield channels, typically these would be disinfo channels. Disinfo channels, like Alex Jones, for example, has been a long time disinfo Zionist channel. Very, very active in deflecting people away from Zionism. Alex Jones talks about everything, but he never talks about Israel. So that is an active disinfo channel that's been around forever. What they created with these new Gatekeeper channels is very truthful channels. They're very honest. They don't put out a lot of disinfo. They are actually legitimate. And that is done to give them credibility among these people who are awake, who are waking up. That was very specifically done, the documents to talk about that. Now I'm going to talk about what is the purpose of the whole operation, and the purpose of this is to put out truthful channels, to attract people to them. They call it tag, track, and ID. It is a term used throughout the documents, TTID. It's something you want to remember. This is very common throughout these documents. They're referred to it all the time. So what does that tell you? They want to tag, they want to track you, and they want to identify who you are. If you are watching these channels, if you are informed, if you are awake on these issues, they want to tag you, they want to track you, and they want to know exactly who you are. They want to know, and it talks about the tracking people's IP addresses through YouTube. They have access to YouTube. They do know who you are. So this is discussed a lot in the documents. I'm just looking through it right now. And there are two projects, and it's very important to listen to this. Project Pogo is one of them, and Project Zypher. I will spell that one. ZYPHR. Project Pogo and Project Zypher are the two projects that the classified documents are referring to, and each has a different role. Project Pogo is about the YouTube gatekeepers, how they are all agents. They are all paid to put out truthful information so that they can tag, track, and ID the people that are watching the videos and giving them likes and giving them comments. They're tracking all of it. Project Zypher is a different project, and that's what I'll talk about in a bit. That is the second stage here. That is coming up. And that is the extermination. They're going to exterminate these people, whether it is tag them for anti-Semitic speech, charge them with crimes, eliminate them completely, and this is where I'll talk about in the documents where they talk about guillotines, viral attacks, targeted, how they're going to eliminate these people without too much suspicion, without too many people noticing. But here's the problem. As I read the documents, I can see I have documents from 4 years ago, I have documents from 2 years ago, and then I have documents from 3 months ago. So there's a progression in the timeline as the projects change. And Project Zypher has changed. In the beginning, they were talking a lot about, okay,
We are going to infect these people with a virus that imitates the flu virus. They're going to eliminate them in various ways that would not be suspicious. In the documents I have now from 3 months ago, they are saying the amount of people they have to eliminate is too large. It is too many. We are talking about millions of Americans. And this is where we see their plans are changing. And they are going to initiate something that is devastating and that is extremely frightening. And based on what I can see in the documents, we're talking about power outages along with a purge. They're going to come in, they're going to take you out of your home, and they're going to put you into a military vehicle or whatever, a van, and drive you away and place you into a camp. It is a very, very big operation that they're planning. It is millions of Americans. They will do it under the cover of night, under the cover of blackness, during one of these planned blackouts. The blackouts are, based on documents, I'm just looking at it right now, they have a 3-day blackout, they have a nationwide blackout that lasts 2 days, and a lot of localized blackouts. So it is a whole series of blackouts that they're going to do. And of course it will be blamed on all kinds of things. They might blame it on Iran. I have seen that mentioned in the documents. They've already prepped people for this. There are going to be more blackouts. They're already predictive programming. So we may see more of this as we go on. As far as I can tell from Project Zephyr, or Zephyr, they are planning this next year and the year after. They are not done tagging, tracking, and identifying everyone. It looks like they're at about 78%. I looked in the documents, and there were a couple of indications of far along they feel the project is. They're like 78% done, but they're not completely done. It does take time to identify a YouTube account and then track it to the email that it was created with and then the IP address and then find out who created it. It does take them a lot of time to do that. It is not instant. It does take a lot of research because a lot of people create a YouTube account with an email address that doesn't give any indication of who they are, an account name that doesn't have their full name on it. They don't use their real pictures. So it is a challenge for them, and that's why the project has been going on for so long. But it is coming to a close. In the next 6 months to a year, it appears it is coming to a close, and that is when Project Zephyr will be initiated. So I have some notes here. I'm going to continue on, talk a little bit more about right. They're being tracked. They're being identified. That's the whole point. A lot of people have said, well, why are some of these YouTube channels allowed to exist? Why are they allowed to so openly talk about the truth? And some of you might know Adam Green, No More News, and there are a whole bunch of others, and they're very, very open about Zionism, and they're very honest about it, and they're telling the truth. I mean, they are telling the truth. They're not hiding anything. They're not disinfo. They're not putting disinfo out there. But as far as I know, they're all a part of this operation. I can't say specifically if Adam Green is a part of it or not, but I would assume possibly he is. He has probably been guaranteed a lot of money. He's probably been promised a lot of things. He could be a Freemason. He could be a part of their operation. He could be an agent. I don't know. I have no idea. It is total speculation on my part. I have no idea. All I know is this is part of the operation, what they want to do. His channel would fit into the MO. It is an example I'm giving. He is there to tag, track, and ID. Not him specifically, but the people behind the operation who are doing all the research and all the people who are commenting and viewing and liking. They want to know who they are. They want to know where they live, and they are going to eliminate them at a date in the future. Completely eliminate them. This is going way beyond the idea of passing laws to ban speech, which they're already doing. They've done it in America already, but not very aggressively, and we will see more legislation of that nature. But they want to completely eliminate these people because they do stand in the way of the agenda. There are too many people that are waking up. It is way too many for them to handle. They're starting to have an influence, and they're starting to change the conversation online. It is of great concern to Israel. Something that the memos that I received, we'll talk a little bit about the memos. The memos are different from the classified documents. The memos are White House internal memos that discuss a wide range of things in terms of Trump's meeting with rabbis, discussions with Netanyahu over the phone. And one of the memos says that Donald Trump will have to declare himself King of Israel publicly. This is part of the process for them. It doesn't. There's no strategic reason for it. It is symbolic for them. Trump is going to declare himself King of Israel at some point. I don't know how, but they're talking about it in these memos over and over again. When he's going to do it, why they want him to do it, which again is symbolic. It has no strategic purpose, apparently. It is part of the process of the end game, basically, is what I'm saying. So we'll see if that happens or not. It sounds ridiculous. I can't imagine him actually saying it. But maybe he will do something like that. We will look out for that in the coming months. Based on my reading of the classified documents and the memos, so much of what is going on is planned. They've given people the impression that Trump has brought chaos to politics, but it's actually the opposite. It has been planned. Donald Trump's allegiance is to Israel. He's not only a Jew, he is a Freemason. They have promised him his daughter, the sons, will enjoy very high-level ranking within the world government that they are forming, the capital which will be Jerusalem. So that is why Trump is so dedicated to following the script, while performing the way that he does. It appears to be very authentic to his followers. Everything he's done, talking about the wall to the fake news, was scripted from the beginning at around 2014 and 2015. And according to some of the memos I'm reading, he loved it. They introduced all of this to him, and he loved it. They told him the plan. You're going to become president. You're going to say this and this and this. He loved it. He's already a little bit of a racist. He's already predisposed to some of this rhetoric. So he loved it. He jumped on board. And they promised him great things, especially for his family, if he were to follow through on these things and simply follow their script. And he does have leeway. He has leeway to say many things that he wants to say. He has a lot of fun doing this. But he does have script writers, and there's one of the script writers, I forget his name. He's bald guy. I want to remember his name. It's important to say it. Well, he is a big part of this. He writes a lot of Trump's tweets. He crafts a lot of it. Oh, I cannot remember. I'm going to have to look him up right now. Trump's speech writer, Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller has a big role in all of this. He is a dedicated Zionist. He has a lot to do with a lot of this. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, if you want to find out who's really behind it, Stephen Miller is a big part of it. So that is the whole of it. I want to get this video out. I want people to hear it. I want people to know what's going on. I've had some strange things going on in my house. I've noticed black SUVs. I mentioned it before. They're still there. I still see them every once in a while. The other day, I went out to try to approach one, to confront them. Like, what are you doing here? I know you're here. And they drove off. As right when I opened the door, and I look outside, I see them drive off. So I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence that they were leaving and they saw, I don't know, but it seemed like they were very, very prepared to get out of there. So the next time I see them, I'm going to confront them quickly and make sure that they don't have time to get out of there before I have a chance to get down there, and at least they see me coming for them. I will try again. But I have seen them mostly at night. I open the window, I look out the window, and that is when I see them mostly. So I want to confront them. I'm tired of the harassment. I know they're watching me. I assume I'm bugged. I assume there's some way to hear what I'm saying, but I don't care anymore. I have been given the documents. I have been tasked with this duty to get the information out. I'm going to do it in any way that I can. I have given my friends copies of all of these. I have stored them in different places. I have a dead man switch in case something were to happen to me. So I've done my best to prepare because I feel like this is getting very serious. I mean, the documents they show me are terrifying. The plan that they have in place. I would expect they have this plan of gatekeeping and tracking people, but they're going to take it to a new level with Project Zephyr. They're going to take it to a new level. They're going to exterminate these people, one by one, through the blackouts. I mean, it says in the classified documents they're planning to pick them up. They're just going to physically pick them up. They're also going to use all kinds of other means to eliminate them. Not just the high-value targets are going to be picked up. The lower-value targets will be given viruses, targeted viruses, that activate either right away or over time. They don't want it to be too obvious that all of a sudden a whole bunch of Americans get sick. Of course, there will be official stories in the news media. Okay, there's a flu outbreak, which indicates to me this will probably happen in winter. Not this winter, but possibly the winter of 2020, 2021. From what I'm reading from the documents, that is the timeline. It is not specific, but that is where I feel it's going to be, because they want to do a flu outbreak, and it will make sense in winter, and people won't question it. They have to eliminate a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, high value of targets. It's going to be so many people that disappear that people will ask questions, so they have their cover stories, and they're getting them ready, and they got them in place. If this were a few 100,000 people, they could do it, but it is millions and millions of Americans that they want to eliminate. I think it's 15 million. Based on what I'm reading in these documents and some of the numbers they've used, which has not been totally specific about it, but it looks like 15 million. But it could even be more. They want to eliminate them completely. Completely. Because it's becoming a problem. And it has been a problem for a few years, and this is their solution to it. In addition to that, they want the world government, they want all of these plans to move forward. They cannot have opposition, because the things that are going to happen are going to be very, very radical. You're going to see the dissolution of the United States of America. You're going to see world leaders and the media endorsing something that is so crazy, and that is the dissolution of the United States of America and the endorsement of a world government seated in Israel. A lot of Americans aren't going to accept that, but they have to eliminate the people who are going to call out what's really going on. From my reading of the documents, how they're going to roll all of this out and justify the dissolution of the United States and many other countries as well, it appears their plan is to do all countries at once. It's going to be under the cover of financial collapse. Well, we have to do the world government. We're all going to die because the financial system is broken down. That is something that is talked about in the classified documents. That ultimately will be the cover story after they do the purge and eliminate the dissidents, the people who are woken up to Zionism. There will be a total financial meltdown, and they will to say, look, we have to do the world government. We have to come together. We have to create this new currency. We have no choice. The chaos is too serious. It'll be probably 6 months of complete financial chaos. Food shortages, rise in crime. Many, many people will die. Millions and millions of people will also die from this. And then they will justify it and say, look, we have to do the world government. So that is what's going on. I'm about done. I'm going to do another video. I have more things coming up. I have a lot more planned because there's more in the documents that I need to discuss. I'll be back with another video soon. Thank you for listening, and I'll do more soon.
Hey, David, it's Tom again. I'm here with my wife. We want to just get you this information right away. We got the dates. I got it from a source, and it's real serious, man. They're going to gear up in 2021. I feel like, look, I saw what look. My source is very high up in the military. I trust him. He would not give me something that was BS. You got to write these dates down. This is when they're going to initiate it. They're doing the virus, they're doing the power outages, and they're doing the roundups. All right? And it coincides with your documents. It's the same stuff. He's got access to something that's like Project Zypher. I don't know, he's giving me this information. It has to be coming from Project Zypher, David, because it matches up. And my wife's here, and she had a few things she wanted to say. Honey, what did you want to mention to David again? Because you said that David really needs to watch his back because something happened to you at work.
Well, he needs to be careful because I was followed. At work, and I was followed into the break room by a strange man.
Well, right, he shouldn't have been in there in the first place. What was his explanation? What did you say to him?
Well, I asked him why he was following me in there. I said, who are you? What do you want? And he just came at me. It was creepy. He didn't even answer me. He just approached me, and he was very intimidating.
Right, but you said something weird about his eyes.
Yeah, his eyes were really, this sounds like I'm making it up, but it's like when he blinked, it didn't blink up and down.
Right. It didn't blink up and down.
It blinked.
Oh, there's no way that happened.
No, it happened. I'm telling you, it's true. He did not blink up and down.
All right, David, I don't know. I want to talk to you about this, David, so I hope you call me back, but we know there's some weird stuff going on.
It ain't right. It ain't natural.
No. And my wife does not believe in this stuff. She's Christian. She does not
I'm
believe.
a God-fearing woman.
So, we're freaked out. Give me a call back. We got a lot to discuss. I want to talk about the dates, the timeline, and I want to ask you about this because maybe you know something, who this guy was. Who this guy was, dude, we need to know. So, get in touch with me. Talk to you later. just so you know where you want to be when this all goes down. I think where you're going is smart. Conferred with a source on it, and he agreed. So you're on the right track on that. I'm concerned about my family, what we're going to do. So I do appreciate you sharing with me what you're doing, and everything with BQ is really good. I'm really impressed. I've already been in contact with them. We're already talking, so that's going to be a big help. And I appreciate what you did with that, because that's big. We need to prepare too. So, and we just don't have the money to really do a lot. I want to get out west. We talked about some of the safe zones in Idaho, Washington, Western Washington, and Eastern Washington. If we're going to go to one, we're going to Eastern Washington, and there's a few places that I've found, and I'm really impressed with them. And because of you, because of BQ, it's my possibility now. So I want to thank you for that. And I'm scared. I mean, look, we talked about the dates, what they're going to do in 2020, and what they're doing in 2021. It all coincides with what we talked about. I think I talked too long about with why they put Trump in office, why they're doing everything with 5G, why they've got 3 flu virus vaccine terminals in every Walmart. I've seen them in Walmart. I've seen them in other places, and they're going to ramp it up this fall. It all coincides, so it's scary when you put together the information you gave me, what I got from my source. I see it all coming together. Why they've done what they've done, and you look at the past 20 years, all these people cried wolf and said, okay, this is going to happen. JL's going to happen. This date. Now I know why they did it. You totally crystal clear now because of what you shared with me the other day. Why did they do that? Because they wanted people to cry wolf and cry wolf and cry wolf so many times nobody would actually take it seriously, nobody get prepared. And it worked. Because now nobody takes it seriously right now. No one is thinking about it. They got Trump in there to pacify everybody. God, it worked, man. I mean, it's beautiful how they did it, and it makes me sick to my stomach, these fucking traitors and what they're doing to this country. Anyway, man, we'll talk soon. I want you to give me a call back, because I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. I'll worry about you.
Hey, David, it's Tom. I wanted to just get back to you about the source, and I finally got the documents that he sent me, and I wanted to share that with you. I think we could talk to him on the phone about it, because at this point, I feel like we're just, they already know everything we're doing, so what's it matter? And, David, I want to talk to you a little bit more about this. My family really needs that money, and we really need that help, and I just really appreciate it if you could put in a good word for us with them. Because I wrote them. And, you know, I followed your instructions, and I wrote them, and I've heard back from them, but it sounds like there's a waiting list or something. You know, you mentioned that if you put in a good word, it might move us up on that list, David. And we just really appreciate that, because we need that money. I mean, you did so good last year. It's unreal, over $1 million. I mean, God, that would really help us, and we need to prepare. We need to prepare. I want to get us bugged out, man. I want to get out of here. I want to move, and we need that money. And there's a property I've been looking at. It's $250,000, but it's in a good location, and I know we'd be safe out there. But I can't afford it. So, dude, I just really appreciate it if you can put in a good word for us. So, I don't want to go too long here, but we'll talk. Just get back to me soon, all right?
They're closing in, man. They're closing in. I'm worried. My wife's worried. We need to talk. Please call me back as soon as you can. I haven't heard from you in a week, so I really like to know what's going on. Talk to you later. calls. We got something weird that happened the other day. I want to talk to you about it. One of the phone calls was real weird. Happened in my wife's work. And we're freaked out about it. So I want to run it by you. You tell me what you think of it. It's not a direct threat. It's just weird. So, anyway, man, I want to... All right. God bless, man.
Told me. You said you were going to call.
Oh, it's pretty good. I was just about to ask if my dad told you I was going to call. I'm so glad that he did. I would have called sooner. I've been meaning to talk to you for a while, but we were actually just in Europe, so I thought after we got back. How are you?
Well, I'm great. So, my understanding is you wanted to talk to me about...
Well, I wanted to thank you. I mean, I couldn't limit myself not thanking the man who's responsible for changing my entire family's life.
Well, that's wonderful. You know, your father is a good man. I've known him many years. I'm so glad about what has happened to your family. It's been completely changes your life.
Unequivocally.
Tell me how some of the things that have happened to you. I love hearing this because I meet a lot of people who I've introduced. I love to hear about the changes in their lives. So tell me some of the things that have happened.
Well, you know, I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to send my kids to school, but my study actually just started. We started college in September. We got her in horseback riding and ballet classes. We all just, as I said, came back from Europe. Before that, we were at Disney World. Before that, we took a trip around with the United States, actually. We got a new vehicle. My son got a new car. I actually took that. My husband has a new car. He actually is about to buy a boat. You can believe that.
Well, I can believe he's going to buy a boat. I can believe that, yes.
I can't believe it, but he's going to buy a boat. Yeah, I mean, it's just been incredible, and I think more importantly, the amount of help we've been able to give, to charity. We actually started working with the local homeless community, and we recently opened up 2 residences, one for men, one for women. We've done coat drives and food bank drives, and we put a lot of effort into that, and been rewarded tenfold. You know, being able to help people and pass it forward has been. It feels good, man. It feels really good.
Well, I know. It's the best. It's really one of the best things about the fact that they make you give 20% of your profits to charity.
We liked that a lot, and it was one of the deciding factors when we...
Right. I mean, it shows where they're coming from. I mean, they really want to give back, and as you know, it's something that has to stay private, and we have to be very careful about who we share it with.
Right.
To keep the private. On the forum?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm on the forum, absolutely.
No, I am too. I don't want to go into detail on the phone.
Right.
Maybe there's a way...
I want to know who you are. We should not talk about it on the phone, but I have an encrypted email, and you can write me.
Oh, that's perfect. Hold on, let me just get let me find a pen here.
All right.
Give me that email, and I will shoot you one up right after the phone, and let's talk a little more.
Absolutely, and we can use the private messaging on the forum. I really like doing that because it's encrypted too, and it's just a great way to meet and talk. But I don't always know who everyone is on the forum because we can't use our real names, and we can't... Good.
I know, and I'm always wondering, and of course I make my guesses, but I never... All right, well, I have a pen, buddy. Give me the email address.
Oh, here we go. The email is...
Oh, okay. .com?
That's right.
All right, I got it. I'm going to shoot you off an email.
Good. I'll be looking forward to talking to you on there. And are you
You're going to be in for the next run, I assume.
Yeah, Daddy said he's going to do the next run.
Of course, everyone does it, but, what tier are you planning on, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, I have no idea. I don't know what that's deciding on.
That's good, because I've done 3 of them, and you want to do tier 5, but I'll talk to you about that on the forum, but it's going to, I have to ask you this, have you thought about what you want?
You know, it's been a discussion for the past probably 2 weeks now. The kids have actually been making little collages and wish, little like wish boards of what they want it to sort of look like and what they want to put in it. And
Well,
there's been a lot of discussion.
Good. I chose mine in Ireland. And,
Oh, it's beautiful.
it was built, and it was about, and wow.
Love to see that.
I know. I'll private message you on the forum photograph. Because it's so much money, it becomes something that is totally transformative. And of course, 20% of profits, we can help so many people with the charities too.
We have so many people, and it's such a beautiful feeling.
It is amazing. So wonderful to hear from you. Wonderful to talk to you. And
I'm so glad that we were able to get in touch. And I'll send you that email.
good. Can't wait to talk to you on the forum, and we'll talk soon. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
night.
you so much.
Good
Have a
night.
nice
You think you're important? You think you're important in New York City? You think you're important in these circles? You think you matter? We can erase you. We can erase everything. You're pathetic. You know that you are pathetic. You think your YouTube channel matters. You think anything you do matters. You open your mouth one too many times. You got a big mouth. And you have a big ego, but you don't have anything to back it up with.